Good afternoon, fellow students. Today is Monday. This is the day for lectures for human anatomy. My name is Professor Dmitry Starchik. As usual, I will inform you about and give you a new knowledge in anatomy course. Today's lecture is introduction to Splanchnology. We start a new section of human anatomy, and it is important section for doctors because it is devoted to visceral, to internal organs. And this course, this section of human anatomy is named Spontanology or Viscerology. It is the same. As usual, I ask you to give me information about connection, about today connection. Please send me a short message if you hear me clearly. Well, I'm waiting your response. This is a lecture. We started new section. And next week, okay, thank you. I see everything is fine with internet connection in our university today. So, as I told you, this week lecture is starting a lecture for Splanchnology, but next week it will be the last lecture for autumn semester, for this semester, and it will cover a topic of digestive tract. Марина Михайловна, лекцию читаю. Пожалуйста, я попозже освобожу, сейчас не могу. And in the spring semester, in the next semester, we will continue the topic about digestive system. Yes, Neijin Bastami informed me that yesterday you have problem with the connection. Yes, it's clear because yesterday was weekend, and maybe now our technician do something with our site, and that's why the connection was not so good. Okay, let's start our lecture, and you see a good picture where all internal organ, actually this is the organ of digestive system, but this is the organ. They are located inside of our body, and they are part of our body, and this organ help us with the different function. So we divided all internal organ for digestive system, respiratory system, for endocrine system, and urinary system. Very important for doctors. This is the reproductive system and lymphoid system. All of these organs are inside of our body, and we will talk around those systems next in the beginning of next semester as well, and now. So what I'm going to do today, I tell you that as usual we have to get conception about how all internal organs look like, how specific classification they have, and we will talk about phylogenesis and ontogenesis of organ. I show you some abnormalities and anomalies, and we will discuss the structure of hollow and parenchymal organs in details. So, as I told you, the section of human anatomy, we call it Splanchnology, what means in Greek, this is the entrails, something what is into our body. And this section deal with internal organ located in the body cavity. You have you see here very good picture. This is a plastinated specimens of mostly whole internal organs we can find in the neck region, in the oral cavity. This is the tongue, as you see. Then in the neck region, in the chest, in the abdominal cavity, even some pelvis organ. This is it. We call it pocket, organ pocket, and it is plastinated specimens. The internal organs of vertebrates and human as well are organized like three tubes, and it is tube one. The first tube is the digestive system, then the second, it is the longest one, then the second tube is the respiratory system, it is smaller, and the minimal tube we could find in the caudal part of our body, in the inferior part of our body. This is the urogenital system. Actually, this is a two system, urinary system and reproductive system. And as you guess, all these three tubes located in our body, they communicate with the external environment. So that's very important. We get something inside of our body. This is the food and air, and we get off some products we don't need more. This is urine, some fecalis, and some of products, products for special for reproductive function. Okay, and this list includes all system of internal organ systems we are going to study in the nearest time, and we will start from digestive system, which is one of the biggest system in our body. Then we will discuss respiratory system, organs, then urinary system, reproductive system. We will have two lectures, one for male reproductive system and then female reproductive organ. I hope it is not discrimination of female. We can change the schedule and start from female organ and then to end with the female. It doesn't matter. And very important system called endocrine organs. This organ regulate the internal homeostasis in our body. This is as well as the nervous system. It is a regulating system. And we will end with the lymphoid or immune system, very important system, especially during pandemic of COVID-19, because this system protects our body from microbes and viruses, etc. Okay, and this is the demonstration of all system. As I said, digestive system provides the body with nutrition and removes undigested food, debris. And it is a long tube, about 8 or 9 meter long. It depends on the body size. And it begins with the mouth and with the anus. So this is a very, very long tube. The second systems and very important system as well, this is the respiratory system, which supplies cells and tissue with oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. This is a product. Carbon dioxide is a gas we produce inside of our body. Every cell or cells and every tissue in our body produce. They take oxygen and take off carbon dioxide or remove it from the body with the lungs and organs of respiratory system. The urinary systems, it includes kidneys, paired organs, as well as ureter and unpaired urinary bladder and urethra. This is a canal where urine is removed from our body, and urine also consist of the salts and metabolic products. So the main function of the urinary system is removing salts and metabolic products from our body. Of course, they are dissolved in the water because it is not possible, there is no way to remove these products without water solution. Endocrine system regulates the activity of metabolism and control other organs and systems, and it is the similar function what the nervous system has. We will study nervous system on the third semester when we come to the second course in our university. It will be autumn semesters, second course, the second course when we talk about nervous system. As you see, endocrine system has a lot of small organs like pancreas, like adrenal gland, thyroid gland, thymus, hypothalamus, this is in the brain, and pituitary gland. But take in consideration that reproductive organs like ovary or testes in female, they are also produce hormone. All endocrine organs produce special biological chemicals, and we call these chemicals hormones. And all endocrine organs produce hormones inside, and hormones come into our blood and regulate different function, different system in our body. Reproductive system ensures human reproduction and transmit genetic information. It is very important system because without reproductive system it was not possible progress, but from this system, thanking to the reproductive system, people live very long time in our planet, and we are going to stay in the world, in the whole world, very, very long time, and it is possible because of the reproductive organ. And lymphoid system, this is a lot of small organs, but they located mostly in the long bones, and sometimes in short bones. In thymus, this is an organ close to the heart, that is the chest internal organ, and the bone marrow in the long bones and thymus are the central organ of lymphoid system. But there are also a lot of small secondary organs like lymphoid node, like lean or spleen, like some tonsils around pharynx, So the secondary organ don't produce lymphoid cells, but they usually are places where white blood cells, we call them lymphocytes, have special they get like specialization in such secondary organ. Of course, the most important organ are central or primary, thymus and red bone marrow, but also the secondary organs are very important. This is a plan. I show you the plan or template how you will prepare yourself for Splanchnology. This is a template which is used for answering in your practical lessons. You see that you have to call organ name that would be in Latin and Greek. You then have to describe external structures of the organ, that is shape, its size, density. You have to show parts of the organ and describe its surface as well. Very important point is knowledge about function of the organ. Sometimes when I ask students about function, they could not say. For example, I ask what is the organ hepa or liver? What is function of our liver? Students don't know, and it is very sad, because it is good idea to study not only anatomy, but study anatomy in combination with physiology. So you have to know function of organs. Fourth point is topography. What does it mean, topography? Topography, this is a location where organs are located, and we call it holotopy. Holotopy means the place or area where we could find this organ. For example, heart, the central organ of circulation system, cardiocirculation system, is located in our chest, right in the center of the chest. So that's a holotopy. Skeletotopy means the level where organs are located and level with the skeleton. It shows the level relative position of organ to the bones. For example, kidney. Right and left kidney are located at different levels. Usually, left kidney is located up to the right kidney, but in skeletotopy, the left kidney is located from 12 to second, from 12 thoracic vertebra to the body, to the second lumbar vertebra, and this is a skeletotopy. Syncope. What does it mean? Syncope. Syncope is position, relative position, another organ to organ we are just talking about. For example, near the heart, located two lungs, right and left one, right lung and left one, and also up to the heart is located thymus, organ of the endocrine system. So syncope usually is used for surgeons. When surgeons operate patients, they have to take in consideration the the local syncope of organ, the neighbors of organ they operated just now. It is also good if students know internal structure of all organ. It is not enough just describe shape, size, density, and part of organ. It is necessary to know internal structure, and usually we call that structural functional unit of the organ. So it is a smaller part organs which provides all its function. Organ development, we discuss this feature of organ because students have to know development and understand some abnormalities and anomalies which doctors may explore it in patients. Blood supply, innervation, and lymphatic drainage, that is a question we usually ask you by passing exam, because it is difficult now to understand blood supply if you don't know blood vessels, if you don't pass this section of human anatomy, I mean cardiovascular system, you can't describe blood supply of organ. But when you get when you pass exam of human anatomy, it will be next year. I think it will be in the end of February 2023, next year, and then you will know not only blood supply of organ, but you will be able to discuss and tell me and our assistant professor assistants the innervation and lymphatic drainage as well. So please take in your memory this plan for study and answering of every internal organ. This table have different name of organs, and as you see here, there are 4 columns. English name here, Latin name, Greek name, and even Russian name. I do recommend you to study all these terms, English, Latin, Greek, and Russian, because sometimes in our courses, in the practice lessons, we will use English, Latin, mostly Latin terms. But if you come to clinic, doctors very often use Greek name of organ. But it is also important for you to know Russian name. So here you see the name of main organ starting from the tongue and till testicle or testis. So please, every time when you study organs, just write, you have to find not only English name but also Latin and Greek name. But it will be perfect if you know Russian name of organ. Here I want to illustrate morphological features of organ. That is the shape, size, and density. For example, I hope you guess what organ is here. This is heart, and as you see, more often heart has a conic or oval shape. This is a liver, and it is not easy to describe shape of the liver, but that is you may say irregular form, irregular shape. The size is also very important, especially for heart and liver, because after some diseases, after some pathological process, organs start to enlarge. They have bigger size than normal. External structure, usually every organs has a few parts. For example, here you see stomach, and this is the first part of the stomach. It is the border between esophagus and stomach, and as you see, this part we call cardia. Then the superior part, that is the fundus. The biggest part we called corpus or body of the stomach body. And then this part called pyloric antrum, and the border, the most inferior part we call pyloric canal. So this is a typical description of external structure and parts of organ. Topography question is the location or holotopy of the organ, and usually we distinguish several area on the body, and each area we call each area has personal name. For example, this part along with the vertebral column called vertebral region. The pectoral region, it is in projection of the pectoral major muscle. This is a place where located heart. Usually heart is has such projection, and mostly it is located in the pectoral region. We will discuss more about different region, especially in abdominal part of our body, and because very often doctors examined patients and touch internal organ in abdominal region, so we divided doctors, anatomists divided abdominal region for 9, firstly for three level, for 3 floor: epigastrium, mesogastrium, hypogastrium. But then divided into the 9 region, and you see the name of each of this region in the picture here. This is the additional vertical lines we use to describe border of organs, and all of these lines have personal name. For example, the first line it takes central position, we call anterior midline. Then you see sternal line, then parasternal, then midclavicular or medioclavicular in Latin, then 3 axillar line anterior, midaxillar, and posterior axillar line, and on the dorsal surface we find scapular line and paravertebral. The central position, that is a line goes through the spinal processes of vertebra, called posterior midline. And doctors use also the level of ribs just to describe skeletotopy position of organ. It is very easy. For example, if we would like to know the level or point where apex of heart, apex cordis, that is the lowest part of the heart located, we just say that it is located on the left midclavicular line in 5 intervertebral space. Here you see 5 ribs, 5th ribs and 7th ribs. Between them located intercostal space or spacium, and the heart located just here. The apex of the heart located in this position. Here the example of the skeletopy, stomach skeletopy. You see that the superior border of the stomach in normal position, of course, is located of the superior border of 10 thoracic vertebrae. This is a superior line of the body of the 10 thoracic vertebra, but the inferior opening which connects stomach to the duodenum is located at the level of the first lumbar vertebra. It is very easy. It has a practical meaning. Just examine projection of all organ to the bones, especially vertebra, ribs, and some point on the skeletal system in our upper and lower limb. This picture illustrates syncope or relative position all organs to another organs. Here you see how the organ of epigastrium level is close to each other. Here visible the right kidney. This is liver, stomach, and colon transversum as well. So they are very close to the liver. And the interesting question is also the constitutional features of some organs. It is especially interesting for stomach because stomachs has a different shape and it depends of the human constitution. Maybe you know that we can divide all people for normosthenics in constitution aspect, then asthenic and hypersthenic body organization. And as you see in normosthenic, this is a people who has a normal size and weight and relation between long and width of the body is in the mid point position. But asthenic usually that is a longer people, but the body of hypersthenic usually are short and they have mostly lateral position, lateral size. So the width of these people are longer than their height. Internal structure demonstrating here for liver, that is a hepatic lobule. As you see, it has a hexagonal size and central position of the vein, etc. So we describe internal structure and we call it structural and functional unit of organs. The right picture is the lung structural and functional unit we called acinus. That is the smallest part of lung where the carbohydrate and oxygen change each hour in blood and air, and that is the important small structure the smallest element of the organ, or we call it also structural and functional unit. Here you see blood vessels and nerves of the organ, and they will be described later in the courses of cardiovascular systems and neurology course. We pay great attention to the X-ray examination of organ. In our department was organized a museum of X-ray images, different bones, organs, and till now the radiological characteristics or X-ray characteristics of organ is very important for doctors too, because very often doctors have to send patient for the additional examination, and very often this kind of examination will be the X-ray or radiological examination. So the knowledge about how internal organs looks like in such X-ray images we call Röntgen anatomy or X-ray anatomy, because Röntgen radiation, it is the same as X-ray radiation. And I invite you to visit our radiological museum, X-ray, and see X-ray images of different organs. We distinguish two main groups of all internal organs. All internal organs we can divide into hollow organs, because they say they have cavity inside, and these organs form tubes. That is the tube form, tube-shaped organs. And the second group we call parenchymal organs, and they are densities. They don't have cavity inside, and usually we call such parenchymal organs like glands. Not always, but sometimes. For example, liver, that is the biggest organ, parenchymal organ in our body. As an example, I may call such parenchymal organs like kidney, pancreas, thyroid gland, etc. Here you see the construction of the wall of tubular organs. As I said, tubular organs are organs in, we can find tubular organs in digestive system, respiratory system as well, in urinary system, and even in reproductive organs. And the typical structure we could find in the wall of the tubular organ, it is a 4-layer. The first, the most internal layer here, it is the mucosa, or tunica mucosa in Latin. Then you see submucosal layer. This is a submucosa. It is white. It has white color here. Then the third layer is the muscular layer or tunica muscularis. You see all of these are muscular fibers or muscular cells. It is a special type of tissue, special tissue type we call muscular tissue. And the most external layer, what is border or the special isolation or covering layer, it would be adventitial tunic or the adventitial layer, but also it would be the serosa layer or tunica serosa. It depends on the position of organ. If organ are inside of abdominal, for example, cavity, the organ has tunica serosa, but his extra cavities, they will be covered with the tunica adventitia. But all of these, two of these tunic, adventitia and serosa, they are external layers of whole or tubular organ. Here is also visible mucosa inside tunica, submucosal layer or thallus submucosa, then muscle layer, and then serosa or adventitial layer. Mucous membrane, typical for all tubular organs. We could find different epithelium cover internal surface of organs, and very often mucosa have different glands. You see here glands, and this is also glands, and even small glands here. You will study details of mucosa membrane in different organs in histology. This is a part of our department, and you will call histology and cell structures and even embryonal development of organ. As you see, mucous membrane has different function. That function is mechanical and chemical protection of organs. They, mucous membrane product secrete. This is a special secret of glands. It transport and provide peristaltic. That is the mechanical or moving of organ. Also important function is biological and immune defense and absorption of nutrition. It is true for intestine, but not for oral cavity. It doesn't matter, but all of these function may be function of mucous membrane. You see the cut of some organs here. This is the cut of urinary, and you see mucosal. All of these will be mucous membrane. And here you see mucous membrane of esophagus here. Some of the organs have net of the folds or mesh folds inside. This is a stomach. As you see, special characteristic, special drawing is this folds, or there are folds of mucous membrane. And you see also interesting structure of internal surface of the cystus or urinary cyst, urinary body. Some of organs consist of the circular folds. Here you see mucous membrane of intestinum tenue, and different folds and valves we could find in the colon or intestinum crussum. And this is the characteristic of the small cells we call it mucosal epithelium. It would be stratified as squamous epithelium, mostly its function is protection. Monolayer epithelium, usually this is exchanging between internal liquid and blood, and this is absorption usually. Absorption or exchange function. Ciliated epithelium we find in the respiratory organ, because these small cilia they move in some direction, and they evacuate the debris and small pieces we could breathe in, and this cilia evacuated all such dirty we breathe in. Mucosal outgrowths. This is a special microstructural microstructures we find in the intestinum. This is the intestinal vilus. They are no more than 1 centimeter, or rather they have about 5 to 8 millimeter long, and they contain blood vessels and lymphoid vessels. Usually they absorb nutrition from the intestinal cavity. And some of the small outgrowths on the mucosal layer of the tongue, they help as the gustatory receptor. We just feel the sugar or some acid inside of our oral cavity, thanks to this tongue papilla, we call them papilla. Some of glands in the mucosal membrane look like very small, and these glands we call unicellular, because it is only one cellular, and this is a gland at the same time. But some of the glands are multicellular. They have not one but a lot of cells. and we could find special structure in the mucosal membrane. We call them lymphoid formations. Lymphoid formation because they are organs of lymphoid or immune system. Sometimes they are large, from half and 0.5 to 3 millimeter long, such this one is follicular lymphatic this is solitaris is the smallest. Here is the smallest, and here. But aggregati, it means they are large. Here from 10 to 15 millimeters. These are aggregate. And submucosal layer is usually this very strong layer because it consists of blood vessels. So function of this layer is the mechanical strength and elasticity. It is also blood supply and nervous regulation, because inside of this layer we could find a lot of connective tissue and collective fibers. Connective fibers, they use like a soft skeleton of internal organs. We sometimes call this layer, submucosal layer, like a soft skeleton of the organ. Mucosal muscle layers. Usually, mostly all internal organs have smooth muscle tissue. They have smooth muscle cells. But in pharynx and esophagus, in the upper part of esophagus, we find also striated muscles fibers. And more often that organ has two muscle layers, internal and external, and they are perpendicular to each other, perpendicular. Outer layer structure, it will be connective tissue layer, and we call them adventitia, but it is also serous coat or tunica serosa. This is the membrane, usually covers organ of the chest, or abdominal cavity, and consists of the different layers. The mesothelium, small one, and fibrosus and subseral basis. That is all of this we call serous coat or tunica serosa. The name of the serous coat is difference. It depends on the organs. Pleura, this is the serous coat for lungs, and we could find it in pleural cavity. Peritoneum, this is a covers. This is a cover in abdominal cavity, and you see here all of this. This is a peritoneum sheets in pelvic region. What is the function of serous coat? It provides delimitation of organs and prevent of them on concretion of organs by close contact. It is also peristaltic sleep. It helps organs to move without friction. And this is also regeneration function when organ are damaged. It used as a regeneration or reparation structure. In this these examples of different organs in digestive tract, and you see how different are layers of hollow organ. Here is esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, and then colon. So different function it provided by different anatomical organization of whole organ. Parenchymal organ structure. Usually, what means parenchyma? Parenchyma is the tissue performing specialized function of organ. So, in other words, that is tissue, dentist tissue of all organs what don't have cavity inside. They don't have hollow. We can't call them hollow organ, but we can call these organs parenchymal organs. And that is the most important part of internal or parenchymal organs. But we also could find connective tissue stroma, which is located between parenchyma, and that is like a structure what contains blood and lymphatic vessels, and it carries supporting and trophic function in parenchymal organs. As I said, structural and functional unit is the smallest part of an organ by volume, and mostly this unit is limited by a connective tissue, like I show you in HEPA. This is a octagonal shape of internal functional unit. The large part of organ we sometimes call segment. Segment is if a structural and functional unit is not possible to see without microscope, but it is possible to see segment of organs. It is visible microscopically. And every segment has special borders, special limitation, and personal innervation limited by its own connective tissue layer. Structural and functional units in kidney we call renal nephrons, and as I said, in the lungs there is a lot of pulmonary arteries. That is also unit of the organs. Here you see the picture of segments in lungs. You see that this part we call segment of the inferior lobar inferior, but this number one, segment 1, this is located. It's located in the apex of in the upper part of lungs. Here you see 8 segments in liver. Each lung has 10 segments, but liver has only 8 segments, and they are named by Roman numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 segment in the liver. Just a moment. Next picture show you the difference between exocrine and endocrine glands. The endocrine glands are part of the endocrine systems, but exocrine glands, this is a part of different systems from digestive to respiratory and urinary. And what is the difference? Exocrine glands have special duct. With this duct, the secret come into the cavity, in some cavity. But endocrine glands have no duct. There is no duct, and they send its secret called hormone inside of blood vessels. So this is hormone production, this is secret production. This is exocrine glands, but this is endocrine glands. Some of organs like a pancreas has two glands. Here you see exocrine glands. We call them Athenus of pancreas. But here you see islands, Langerhans islands, which produce hormones, insulin and another hormone called glucagon. Exocrine glands may be mucous, serosal, and mixed. It depends on what kind of secret they produce. And the conclusion we can give you after studying common feature of internal organ, that all of organs carry out metabolic processes between body and the environment. And internal organ, all internal divided into tubular and parenchymal organs. Hollow organs has 4 layers at least: mucous membrane, muscular, serous, adventitious, and between them may be a submucosal layer. From 3 to 4 layers each hollow organ has. And the parenchymal organs, they have 2 kind of tissue: parenchymal, and this is the main part of organ, and stroma. Stroma is usually the connective tissue between parenchyma. Phylogenesis of internal organ. If we take a look, the most ancient of the animals, comb jelly, we could find the digestive system here. So very early in evolution, animals started to organize the most important systems like digestive system. It is very ancient system. Then we find such a system in the primitive and worms. Like here you see that this worm has a digestive system, and it is like a tube. And we can also find such as digestive tube in animals, chordates, vertebrate. Respiratory systems is also depend on where the animal lived. For example, fish have the special organs to breathe in the water, but then the amphibians, they come on the surface, come on the air and start to breathe with air, as well as reptiles and mammals. This is the individual genesis. We call that ontogenesis of internal organ, and important that we have three main layers, three embryonal layers. That is ectoderm, then mesoderm, it is a red structure, and endoderm. And as you guess, ectoderm give us the nervous system and skin. Endoderm, that is a part of all internal organ, digestive tract, for example. But mesoderm, it is a source for muscles, some bones, and some of internal organ. This is a primary gut in embryonic period. This is a special appendix with connect with yellow sacs supplying embryon with nutrition in the first period of before it gets fetus period. And in the end of our lecture, I'd like to show you and explain some terms regarding with the anomalies of development. We talk about agenesis, that is the undeveloped organ, when there is no organ at all. Here you see only right kidney, but no left kidney. It means agenesis. It means kidney, left kidney agenesis. Aplasia is the underdevelopment when we get rudiment. It is a smaller part of organ, and we talk aplasia is such in such situation. Hypoplasia, this is the when organ is smaller, and when it is it get delay in embryogenesis. You see here normal size of the kidney. This is the right kidney, but a small one left kidney, and it means hypoplasia. Hypo means small. Plasia this is development in Greek. So this is term refer to the insufficient organ development due to delay. Hyperplasia, this is antonym. When here you see the thyroid gland, and that is it has a big size. Usually it is also not good, because thyroid glands produce hormones which give such as a strange feature for this woman. It is exophthalm. This is a result of hyperplasia of the thyroid gland. Doubling is when organs this is a duplication. That is the formation of additional organ. For example, here you see not 2 but 3 kidneys, 2 right kidneys and one left kidneys. I hope you remember that usually people have only 2 kidneys, but not 3. And this is the fusion, when 2 organs connect each other and there is no border between them, such as a double fusion kidneys we called horseshoe kidney, because it looks like horseshoe. And atresia is also the abnormalities where we couldn't find natural opening. For example, here there is no anal opening of the colon. Usually this atresia is the abnormality of hollow organ. Diverticular, this is some processes we could find in hollow organs. Very often we could find diverticles on the small intestine. This is the result of bad reducing of yellow sac in embryo. This is the heterotopia, when organ lays in atypical place. These poor children has the heart under the skin on the anterior surface of the chest. Dystopia is also displacement when organs move to the atypical place in the embryonic period. And this is also very interesting kind of abnormalities. We call it inversion. Inversion, that is the reverse of the reverse position of organ. For example, here you see the situation we call situs viscerum inversus in Latin. It means that all organs located different. Here the chest organs located in the right position, but the abdominal organs they are inversed. You see the liver located mostly from the left side, and appendix is also in the left inguinal area, etc. So this is the inversus position of organ. That is all for now, my friend. I hope you started you get some you take something new from the internal. Владимир, перезвоню, хорошо? Лекцию закончу. Спасибо. And now it's time to answer your questions. Please let me know if you have questions. So please, questions. I'm waiting your questions. If there are no questions today, then let me thank you for your attention and wish everything fine this week, and hope to see you next Monday in our last lecture in human anatomy. Thank you very much, and let me say you goodbye.